Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. TammyTalks here. Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 5, She by Herself. Yikes. If you're brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns on various TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So, if you enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel, thumbsing up the video, and then hop in the comment section, y'all, so we can talk about tonight's episode. All right, so the episode picks up where it left off a couple of weeks ago, where they're in New York to see Candy's play, and they're all at dinner. Drew feels that Sheree is being messy because Sheree pulls up the phone, pulls up her phone to show the text message thread where Anthony is the one that's being messy, keeping up the drama. He's the one that insinuated that Ralph was gay, right? Or not insinuated, he's the one that said that Ralph was gay. So they're asking Drew, how can you feel that Sheree is being messy and Sheree never spread this information? Which is true. We never hear that Sheree has spread it or anything. It came out from Sheree's friend. So Sheree told at least one person, but Sheree's not the one that's out spreading the rumor. So they're confused by why aren't you acknowledging the fact that the problem is Anthony? But like I said before, Drew doesn't want to admit the problem is Anthony. Why? Because she wants to keep getting that information from Anthony about Sheree. That's why Drew doesn't want to get rid of him. Drew is messy, but we knew that already. So Drew then apologizes for putting her hands in Sheree's face. And she apologizes for getting loud with her and everything that happened at Brooklyn's party. Sheree then directs her energy to Candy and said she has a problem with Candy because we know each other. You know me personally. There's absolutely no reason why you didn't come to me, but you went around telling everybody else in the group what you heard about, what Drew told you. And Candy was like, that is correct. I did do that. So Candy admits to what she did, and Candy then apologizes. And everybody is like, this is what you do. I would love to send that scene. I would love to send that scene to a couple of people. I don't know why people can't just apologize for their indiscretions. I don't know why people have so much pride that they can't just apologize. Everybody wants to brush shit under the rug and not be adults and hold themselves accountable. Candy did, though. She admitted. Sheree said in her confessional that the apology only somewhat seems sincere. Sheree just wants to be mad at Candy about that, and that's fine. So Kenya then gets some text messages while this is going on, and she visibly gets upset. So everybody is just assuming they're from Mark. So she gets up and leaves the table. She goes outside, she said, to get some air. Marlo follows her and tells her, don't let Mark, ruin your night. What is going on? So Mark currently has Brooklyn. He wants Kenya to drop what she's doing, drive across the bridge to go pick up Brooklyn because he now has to go to work. So Brooklyn can't stay with him the night. Candy goes outside to see what the problem was and tells Kenya that, you might need to pull back, and if Mark wants to see his child, he needs to be the one to reach out and do it. Kenya said as a parent, she can't allow that to happen. She wants Brooklyn to know who her father is. She wants Mark to be in Brooklyn's life. She said that fathers instill self-confidence and self-esteem in their daughters. I don't know if I fully agree with that. I get what Kenya is saying, but that's also something that you as her mother can instill in her as well. Nonetheless, they go back in and the conversation switches and shifts towards Tyrone. Is Tyrone coming? Is Tyrone coming? I'm so sick of them talking about Tyrone and whether or not he's coming. Who cares? Who cares? So Sheree said to Tyrone, may come up for a few hours during the day since it's going to be within the 100-mile radius. Everybody can go to lunch or something like that, but he can't make it to the play. Marlo tells Candy They then start talking about Candy and Todd's sex life and how Candy's not doing enough. And Marlo tells Candy, you take all your jobs serious, right? This is another job as well. And then everybody breaks for the evening. Um let's see the machine. So we then have Candy going to see like everybody that works with the play, and they're telling her that New York is not officially back open until Broadway is. So because of Candy's play, they're seeing ticket sales from all over the country, right? All these people are buying tickets and flying into New York. So they're telling Candy that she is single handedly helping revive and open up New York. And I said, y'all are putting a lot of pressure on this little play. But kudos to them. I'm glad to see that Candy's contributions are helping Broadway, and that this is an all black production, all black cast. You love to see it. Always black powered. All right. So then we have Kenya and Sanya. They are having a conversation. Sanya said that nothing has turned her on more than when her husband won the Super Bowl. So then Kenya is telling her how Mark always makes her feel like she's always doing something wrong. We see that Brooklyn did spend the night back with Kenya, and not with her father like she was supposed to. I think Brooklyn was supposed to be with Mark the entire weekend. So Kenya then says that she feels that she might have went a little too hard on Ralph, but it was because like a lot of that conversation was kind of triggering. The way that he was talking to Drew in that moment kind of triggered her a little, to the point where she just kind of spazzed or whatever. Saying Sam then switches over and feels like Drew is fake. Said that, she has that whole dropper with Drew situation, but she did have surgery. She had the mommy makeover. So Kenya said, how are you helping people lose weight when you had your stomach cut off? It's true, though. It's true. It's true. I feel like if I'm going to take advice or join somebody's fitness program or something like that, I want to see some actual results on not only your body, but at least one other person that you have helped. Because for all intents and purposes, it's easy for you to figure out what works for you and your metabolism and the way that your body heals and the way that your body works. But is it that easy for you to do that for a mass of other people? It's not. So the fact that Drew has dropped it with Drew and she is holding on to this foolishness, astounding. And it's funny that all the ladies are in turn like calling her out about it. So nobody believes this to be true. Nobody believes this to be legit. It's like, what is going on here? So we see Sheree calls Candy, and she said she doesn't know if Tyrone's going to be able to come today or not. Tyrone didn't want to chance the limit being at within that 100-mile radius. Bravo is lovely enough to put that it was 94.6 miles, so he is within that 100-mile radius, but Tyrone didn't want to chance it. So he'll just have to meet up with them another time. Won't be able to come to the play because he got to be in the house by 9. But she can meet him. Candy and the other ladies can meet Tyrone at a different time. So we go out to lunch, and they start talking about who is the most famous person that has ever hit on you, talking to the ladies. Apparently, Marlo used to talk to Jazzy Faye, but she said she was not going to be the other woman because Jazzy Faye was talking to somebody, a whole mess. And then we see a clip back to when she went to Candy's studio and Jazzy Faye was there. Then we have Kenya, who asks everybody who's the most famous person to ever hit on, like, around across the board. Candy said Gerald Levert. And they were in a whole full-blown relationship, and they have an unreleased song together that's on her hard drive. Candy, we don't want to hear it. I guarantee you we do not want to hear it. Gerald Levert's voice is like butter. We do not want to hear your whatever it is that you do next to Gerald Levert. I feel like it's also like I don't know if Candy should be like really playing in that game because she's a celebrity herself. So I'm sure a bunch of other celebrities have talked to her. You know, Candy's been famous like her whole life. Drew said that the king of the NBA sent her a drink, used to fly her out to his games, used to play her music before his games. The fact that he played her music is the reason that he was doing all that winning. And the way that everybody looked at Drew and said, girl, if you don't get all of the fuck, and so they're in the confessional. And then Kenya said, y'all, she was talking about Laquan. Y'all heard wrong. So what a lot of people are saying is we know that Savannah and LeBron have been together since they were in high school. Drew, when in that time was he sending you? Then Drew made sure to say it was before he was married. You could have literally just said anybody else. We don't believe you. You need more people. Oh, Drew is so. What is going on? Like, girl, you could have literally said She should have said Derwin Davis. Okay, you should have said Pooch Hall is the most famous person that has ever hit on me. You could have even lied and said that it was like Rick Fox because Rick Fox was on the show, on the game. But whatever, Drew. Marlo said Gene Simmons, which if he did, all right. Kenya then said Prince. And Drew is in her confessional and said that if Kenya, she wants to read the Kenya Moore memoir, which is full of fiction because that's a lie. Kenya was that bitch in the 90s, okay? So I don't know why Drew would think that that was not true. So we're supposed to believe that LeBron James hit on you from what the single that you had on the game with Derwin over Kenya, who was somebody in the late 90s, early 2000s. That's unbelievable. I'm so sick of Drew. And then Marlo switches to Where's Tyrone? When I tell y'all, I hope this is the last episode we hear about Tyrone. It might not be, but I'm sick of it. Marlo asked for Tyrone. Sheree said that he couldn't make it, but she's going to go to Philly and see him tomorrow before flying back to Atlanta. Candy gives she's on FaceTime with all the ladies, tells them to have their remotes on, their vibrators, tells them that they have to wear them tonight just for some fun. They get down on the bus. Sanya's trying to figure hers out. Ralph is controlling hers for some reason. Come to find out, if you're in close proximity, your remote can control multiple different devices. Kenya, Marlo, and Sheree did not wear theirs while they're in traffic. They have to, there's going to be like a road that was closed. So they're told they can either walk the 7 minutes or they can take a different route, but they don't want to risk being late. They decide to walk. Marlo goes and gets one of those like public bikes that you can pay for, and was hauling ass on that bike to get to the theater. I thought that was hilarious. I love those. They're called bubbler bikes here in Milwaukee. Absolutely love them. So after the play, everybody's going to meet to kind of hang out and shoot a scene, basically. Sheree, Marlo, and Kenya are downstairs talking, and they start to talk about Ralph and Drew. Kenya brings up that Drew has this Drop It With Drew program, but she had surgery. So Marlo goes to the website, says that you can lose 21 pounds in 20 days, and she tries to click on it, but it takes to one of those websites where there's nothing there. So they're all laughing about that just as Drew and Ralph come in, and the couple starts to filter in. So Kenya apologizes to Ralph, says that she might have been projecting at dinner, and she just, she wants to apologize for how hard she went at him. Ralph accepts it. He said that sometimes he does come across a way, so that's just what it is. And I'm like, it's not that you come across a way, Ralph. You are a way. There's a difference. Let's not play semantics. There's a difference. So after the gentlemen walk away, because Kenya says, is there anything that anybody wants to get out in the open to clear the air? I feel like that's always a bad precedent to do. That's always a bad whatever to do, because it's always going to turn into some type of argument. Nonetheless, Sanya said that she wanted to talk to Drew about a few things. Okay. She said that sometimes she feels that when we're in group settings like this and different things are going on, Drew wants her to step up for her and say things. Drew has no idea what the hell Sanya's talking about. No idea what Sanya's talking about. So, Sanya said that certain things that Drew was doing, like putting her hand in Sheree's face, she just don't rock with. Drew, and I was on Drew's side with this. Why are you bringing this up now when you could have easily pulled me to the side and had this conversation? So Drew was wondering why we're talking about this now when you were literally up in my room earlier today and we could have addressed it then. Sanya said that she did not do that then because Drew always has this entourage with her and it was a lot of people in the room. So let's not do it in front of the 7 people in the room. Let's do it in front of the other 5 people that are right here. Sanya is rubbing me wrong, y'all. Sanya is she's coming across. Sanya's honestly coming across as if she really wants to fit in with the other ladies so bad, and she's willing to jump on the I hate Drew train. That's the vibe I'm getting from it. So Sanya said that she can't fully rock with Drew because she doesn't agree with how she feels about certain things, and that's why she's getting into it with so many people. Drew said, who did I get into it with aside from Sheree? We've talked and it's been hashed out. And I was sitting there looking like, Sanya, I'm not following you. It's not quite circulating for me just yet. So you can see the faces of all the ladies that are kind of confused, like, what the hell is Sanya saying? And because Drew confused herself. So Candy said in her confessional, this ain't making sense. Sanya should have wrote it down. And the way I hollered, y'all, because this is also why you don't do stuff like this. This is also why you don't do stuff like this in front of other people, because now you're creating a bigger shitstorm of what it had to be. Because you might think, like, Sanya probably thought that she was killing this conversation, but it's making both of y'all look stupid now. So Marlo said that Kenya went to try to join the Drop It with Drew, and Kenya was like, no, I didn't. It was Marlo. Drew's dense ass was like, oh, you guys tried to sign up? Great, thank you. I'm like so honored. And they're all looking at her like, no, heifer, we couldn't because it's not working. So Marlo was like, we didn't because it didn't work. Drew was like, you know how many people have lost 100 pounds on the program? And they're like, no, not the people. The site, the actual site does not work. We can't go to the actual website. Drew's ass said, oh, it must have crashed. I said, oh, Drew. Oh, Drew. Drew, like, I can't trust nobody that has a response in a lie so quickly for every damn thing that goes on in their life. I can't trust you if that's how you operate. That shit was funny. So they start to question Drew about, like, does the program work? How does it work? What is it? So Drew is talking about how, you know, we have meal plans. We have boot camps. We have challenges. We have all these different things in different cities. And they're all like, wow. So, like, really, what is it? Kenya said in her confessional, it's giving Ponzi scheme, which it don't sound, I'm not going to say it doesn't sound legit, but it don't sound legit. It doesn't. So Sheree asked if the program works, right? And you're standing on it and you believe in it. Why did you get surgery? Drew said because she had a hernia. So, when you have a hernia, your stomach is protruding. And so she was starting to say that she had endometriosis. And then Marlo said, "Oh, so the program is to maintain the surgery." And I said, Lord have mercy. But again, you can't feel sorry for Drew because in this scenario, girl, you are moonwalking and backpedaling and tripping over yourself trying to keep up with these lies. So then Drew was like, "Do you want me to show you how much I've made from it?" That's not what we said. That's not what they're asking. They're not asking how much money you made from it. They're asking to see some actual results from the program. The fact that you went straight to the financials, I'm with Kenya. It's giving Ponzi scheme. It's giving Ponzi scheme. Why wouldn't you say, "Let me show you some pictures of some of the people that have done the program that have lost the weight"? No, your first response was, "Let me show you how much I've made from it to show you that it's legit." Drew, bye. Trifling. So while this is going on, Tyrone FaceTime Sheree. They're talking to him on FaceTime. The ladies are all like staring at him, trying to get close and wave. Marlo tells him that Candy rented a Sprinter, that we're going to all come see him tomorrow to get some cheesesteaks. I said, Marlo scared this man off. So the next day, we see Sheree headed to Philly. It's about an hour and a half to 2 hour drive. She's going to be meeting up with Tyrone for lunch before she has to hop on the flight to head home. She's at the restaurant. She done ordered a drink. She ended up getting some tea because it was cold outside. She got something to eat because she had been waiting there. She calls her daughter and asks, "What does it mean when I'm calling somebody and it goes straight to voicemail?" Her daughter said, "I think it means it's blocked." Doesn't mean you're blocked. It means they're purposely ignoring your call. If you got an iPhone, they are hitting the red telephone to hang up on you. That's what it's doing. So Sheree is out there, and I felt so bad for her because yikes. So production walks over and says basically that this is a parole violation for Tyrone. The court only granted him permission to go to New York, I guess not to come here. What I think is happening is Tyrone does not have permission to be on the show. That's what I think is happening. And instead of him just telling Sheree that, he's just refusing to meet up with her. So Sheree is upset because she's like, "We go out to eat all the time. We go out to restaurants all the time. Why is this an issue now? Because you're filming now, Sheree." That should have been like the common denominator. So Tyrone is not coming. Basically, he's not answering her phone calls. Sheree's all up in her feelings. Her emotions are heightened. She's upset. She's sad. She's hurt. She's probably embarrassed. So she calls Kenya on FaceTime. And she's telling Kenya what happened. And you hear her voice crack. And I said, "Oh, hell." Then I think about the fact that the episode is titled "She by Herself." And I said, Bravo don't give a damn. Because, wow. So Sheree is she's crying, she's hurt, and Kenya is like, "Don't let that man knock you off your square. You look good. He doesn't respect you, he doesn't want you, he doesn't need you. What can I do for you? Do you want me to check on the flight for you? Do you want me to? What can I do?" And I'm like, the fact that Kenya was just able to talk to her, give her some reassurance, couple self-esteem boosters up in there, that is really all she needed. But like nothing is going to make Sheree feel better in this scenario of not only being stood up but being embarrassed because you were supposed to be filming, to now being embarrassed because this is aired on national television. What a mess. What a mess. Bravo, y'all ain't shit for calling this episode She by Sheree. But I also feel, Sheree, let this be a lesson. You are too old to be dealing with a man that is on house arrest. And Sheree is saying how she has given, the past couple years of her life, she's turned down many men because she really wanted to be with him. And it's like, you're too old for this. You're too old. I do not want to see this. How old is Sheree? 50? I don't want to see this 50-ish year old woman crying on TV about this man who's on house arrest and can't come to the fucking cafe, probably up the street, to see her. Let this be the last straw. Be done. Find you a man that can leave the house after 9. What? Lord, let me know how you guys felt about this episode.